Let me ask you something real. When you're standing on the edge of a decision that could change everything for you, one of those moments where your life could expand or contract, what voice in your mind do you hear first? Is it fear? You're not ready. What if you fail? What will people think? That voice is loud. It grabs your attention, and it makes you second guess yourself even when you know what's right. Fear always shows up first because it's been rehearsed your whole life. You were taught to doubt yourself, to fear change, and to deliberately weaken yourself with what ifs and negative thought patterns. But here's what I want you to really get today. Underneath all that noise, there's another voice, one that's steady and quiet, one that's clear when we tune into it. It doesn't shout, it whispers. That whisper is your truth. It's the voice that knows who you are, not the character you have learned to believe you are, but the one behind it, the one that has always been the same throughout your entire life. It's the one that doesn't need approval, doesn't negotiate with fear, and doesn't need anyone's permission to be real. And the more you learn to listen to it, the more powerful, peaceful, and aligned your life becomes. That's what this video is about. I'm Mike Oglesbee, and if you're tired of letting fear lead the way, if you're ready to reconnect with that deeper truth inside you, the one that's always been there, then you're exactly where you need to be. Let's begin. Here's what most people don't realize. Fear always shows up first because it's the most rehearsed. Since childhood, we've been trained and conditioned to live from a fear-based mentality, or what I call a fear-based philosophy, where we're constantly searching for reinforcement for our inadequacies and limitations. Don't do this or you'll get hurt. Oh, you know you can't do that. Sit down and shut up. Fear didn't just become familiar. It became our identity. It became the voice we trust even when it's wrong. It's not smarter, it's just louder, because we've given it permission to overpower our truth for too long. And your nervous system has learned to confuse control with safety. But here's the truth. Fear might feel safe, but it's not truth. It's a story based on the past. It's a loop of old programming, and it will keep you small until you decide to listen to something deeper. Because underneath all of that noise is a different frequency. One that doesn't panic, one that doesn't insult you, rush you, or threaten you. It's the voice of your truth. It's been there the whole time. Quiet, consistent, waiting. Fear may be louder, but truth is where you'll find your power. And when you finally start tuning out the fear and tuning into that steady truth beneath the chaos, well, that's when life begins to shift. That's when you remember who you are. Now let's talk about truth, because it's not always what you expect. Truth doesn't shout over your fears. It doesn't beg for your attention. It doesn't threaten you, shame you, or manipulate you into action. Truth doesn't need to prove itself, because it already is. It's the voice that says, you're ready, even if you don't feel ready. This will stretch you, but it won't break you. You've walked through fire before. You'll rise through this too. You're not behind. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. The voice of truth is calm, steady, and grounded. Not always comfortable, but deeply aligned. Truth is the path to freedom. But most people miss it because they're chasing validation instead of alignment. They want certainty. They want permission. They want guarantees. But truth doesn't always offer those, because truth isn't here to make you comfortable. It's here to make you whole. Truth is the gentle nudge that says, let go of the lie. Choose what's real. Stop performing. Start living. And here's the key. Truth never tears you down to build you up. It doesn't insult your worth to guide your growth. It uplifts. It expands. It liberates. You know it's truth when it brings a quiet sense of knowing, even if your fear is still buzzing around in the background. You feel it not just in your mind, but in your body. Your breath deepens, your shoulders drop, your heart steadies. You feel a sense of yes, even if your fear is still saying, what if? That's the difference. Fear demands, truth invites. The more you learn to recognize that voice, the easier it becomes to follow it, no matter how loud the world gets. Because your truth isn't just a whisper in the storm, it's the anchor beneath it. This isn't just theory for me. This is personal, because for most of my life, fear was the loudest voice in my head. It controlled everything. I lived with debilitating anxiety, the kind that made it hard to breathe, let alone think clearly. Panic attacks, racing thoughts, irrational obsessions. I couldn't stop overthinking conversations. I couldn't stop trying to hold it all together. Fear convinced me that if I didn't obsessively control everything, I'd fall apart. I didn't sleep well. I didn't feel safe in my own skin. I'd wake up dreading the day before it even started. And depression, it crept in like a fog. I'd lose days at a time, feeling like a ghost in my own life. Numb, hopeless, disconnected from anything that mattered. It hurt to be alive. And what made it worse was that I was ashamed of how much it hurt. I didn't tell people how much I was struggling. I already had a fragile self-esteem, so I couldn't afford for anyone to think anything else was wrong with me. So I just smiled, performed, and suffered in silence. I was surviving, not living, existing, not thriving. And worst of all, I believed that voice of fear. I believed that I wasn't good enough, that I was broken, that I'd never be free. But what I didn't know yet was that fear was just a program. One I didn't choose, but one I had the power to change. That shift didn't come all at once. It came moment by moment, day by day. As I learned to quiet the noise, I began to listen to the voice of truth. I started to ask different questions. Not what if I fail, but what if I'm stronger than I think? Not what's wrong with me, but what do I need to hear right now that's true? And the more I tuned into that quiet voice beneath the fear, the more my life began to change. It didn't happen overnight, but it did happen. I reclaimed my peace. I rebuilt my identity. And I found a voice inside me that had been waiting all along. The voice of my truth. That's what I want for you too. Because no matter how loud your fear is right now, no matter how deeply it's rooted, it does not have to define you. You were not born afraid. You were trained to be afraid. And that means you can be retrained in truth. Let's talk about the how, because this isn't just philosophy, it's practice. You've heard me say this before. We don't just overcome fear by trying to get rid of it. We overcome it by remembering the truth and practicing it. So, here are 5 practical ways you can start hearing and trusting your inner voice again. Number 1, step back mentally. When fear gets loud, step back from the noise. I teach my clients to do what I call zooming out. Imagine you're coaching a friend through what you're experiencing right now. What would you say? What would you see clearly from the outside? This helps you disconnect from the emotional overwhelm and reconnect to wisdom. Fear thrives on urgency, but truth is accessed through pause. Create space, get present, then listen. Number 2, get still and recenter. You can't hear a whisper in a storm. That's why stillness is essential. Truth lives in the quiet, not the chaos. This is where techniques like breath work, mindfulness, or simply observing your environment come in. I teach people to tune into their senses, sight, sound, touch, to bring the nervous system back to the now. Because when you're grounded in the now, you're no longer reacting from fear. You're responding from presence, and presence is the portal to truth. Number 3, practice tuning your thought state with truth. Your subconscious mind is full of stories. Many of them were planted without your consent. So the next step is to examine those stories and ask, is this actually true? Or is this just something I learned? In Fight Back, I talk about using the law of truth as a filter. Here's the key. Fear-based thoughts tighten and contract you, while truth-based thoughts expand and empower you. You can find a simple exercise to help you flesh out the truth from the lies that drive your fears in my book. Number 4, speak your truths out loud. The subconscious mind learns through repetition and emotion. That's why I teach the use of truth cards, simple statements aligned with who you really are, placed in different areas you'll see often, such as your nightstand, the bathroom mirror, or on your desk. Say them with emotion. Feel them as if they're already true. You're not just repeating affirmations, you're installing a new filter in your mind. You're retraining your nervous system to follow truth instead of fear. Number 5, take one small action aligned with truth. This is where embodiment comes in, because truth doesn't grow stronger by thinking about it, it grows stronger by living it. Most people attempt to make significant strides in their personal growth journeys by taking giant leaps, but they're often met with setbacks. You don't need to take a giant leap. You need just one small aligned action. You must lay the foundation for your healing first, and that comes through taking small, consistent steps. Every time you choose truth over fear, even in tiny ways, you build self-trust. And when you trust yourself, fear loses its power. Remember, fear will always be louder, but truth will always be right. Let me share a story with you. A former client of mine, let's call him John, came to see me after nearly 30 years of living with crippling social anxiety. He couldn't go to the mall, attend ball games, or even make it through a simple grocery run without feeling like he had to escape. His heart would race, his thoughts would spiral, and the moment he felt eyes on him, he was out the door. This fear didn't come from nowhere. When he was around 12 or 13, he experienced a deeply humiliating moment at school in front of his classmates. That moment embedded a powerful message into his subconscious. Crowds aren't safe. You're not safe. And that message became his reality. For the next 30 years, every crowd reinforced that belief. His mind, trying to protect him, made him anxious, and that anxiety became the alarm that kept him safe. But it also kept him small, isolated, miserable. When John and I started working together, he believed something was wrong with him, that he was broken. But I helped him see what was actually happening. His subconscious mind wasn't broken, it was working exactly as it was programmed to. That shift in perspective was massive. Together we began to unravel the old associations, the belief that crowds meant danger, and we replaced them with new truths rooted in empowerment and safety. With consistent work, John not only overcame his anxiety, he started showing up for his life. He joined a local community club, he participated in fundraisers, and today he can walk into any public place with calm and confidence. Here's why I'm telling you this. The voice of fear had been running his life for decades, but once he learned how to hear and trust the quiet voice of truth, everything changed. That's the power of this work. That's the power of truth, and that's what's possible for you too. So here's the real question. Will you keep letting fear make the decisions? Will you keep letting that loud, anxious voice run your life, telling you you're not ready, that something bad might happen, that you need to wait, prepare more, fix yourself first? Or will you choose to pause, get quiet, and listen to the truth that's always been there? Because here's what I know, not just from my own journey, but from the thousands of people I've worked with. The truth doesn't abandon you, you abandon it when fear gets too loud. But truth is patient, it waits, and it's waiting for you now. You already know the way forward, you just forgot how to hear it. And maybe today is the day you remember. So let me leave you with this. You are not broken, you are programmed. And if fear is the program, you can rewrite it. You can rewrite your nervous system. You can retune your mind. You can relearn how to live from alignment, not anxiety. You can start asking better questions, take more aligned actions, and trusting the still, steady voice inside you. And when you do, your life will change. Not because fear disappears, but because it no longer gets the final say. If this resonated with you, drop a comment below and tell me, what truth are you choosing to listen to this week? And if you want more guidance, grab your free copy of my book, Fight Back, in the link below. It's designed to walk you step by step through the exact process I use with my clients to break free from fear and step into power. I'm Mike Oglesbee, and I believe in the version of you that fear tried to silence. Let's go find them again together.